The doctoral advisor is one of the most important aspects of your program. You may know the most important theories, the biggest names, you may know which research methods to use, or you may have the best intentions to change the world. But without a productive relationship with your advisor, you can still struggle through your doctoral program. That's because the PhD is not just a test of your research skills, it's also a test of your ability to navigate academia. So let's talk about that today in this edition of DocWork. Your advisor is your mentor, but not just about the theory and methods for your research. They're your insider guide into the inner workings of academia. They're the first gatekeeper who knows what you need to be a successful researcher. Take advantage of this knowledge while you can, but keep in mind that they're focused on their own career. It's their research, their papers, their grant money. That's a lot of work for any one person to take on. And most full-time faculty cannot and should not be expected to provide guidance purely out of the goodness of their hearts. Oftentimes, advisors rely on their students, their advisees, to assist them in their research. You are their resource, they are your manager. That might be a harsh truth for doctoral students to embrace, but it's reality. The academic careers of faculty members just aren't judged on the personal development of their students. Faculty are judged on securing grants and publishing papers. Look up any faculty member on a university website. Read through their CV. It will show their education and their work experience, but most importantly, the papers and books they published and the amount of grant money that they have been awarded. But rarely do you find any information about how many students they've advised. On the numbers alone, a federally funded grant or a paper in a top journal has far more value extrinsically than their capacity to shape students. This usually means that a student finishing their PhD is often a convenient byproduct of their success, not the main goal. So why do scholars work in universities at all? What's the point if the main goal isn't to mentor students? The answer is that the advisor-student relationship helps them in ways that just don't show up on paper. It's meant to be a mutually beneficial relationship. You don't see this a lot when you're getting any other degree, so it may seem jarring or just plain wrong to expect a transactional relationship. But think of it like this. In the social sciences, writing a grant application can run into dozens of pages. Then there's research papers that are anywhere between 5,000 and 9,000 words, depending on the field. Then there's even more writing and feedback and revisions. The whole thing can take a year from submission to publication, and that's after all the time and effort used to do the actual research. Study design, participant recruitment, data collection, data analysis, etc. Imagine all the tedious little things that require attention just to make the study work. And multiply that by 2 or 3 active studies, or 4 to 8 publications in a year. That is a lot. So this is where students fit in the research process. Students can handle the legwork, conducting literature reviews, cleaning data sets, analyzing the data. Some advisees even chip in on some of the writing. In a perfect world, the advisor assists at each step of the research process. That's just good guidance. But in the end, it might come down to the students doing the legwork and the faculty building on the students' work with synthesis and dissemination. Now, this is one area where doctoral students get frustrated. They see this part of the academic world as menial and thankless. In the end, it is productive. It gives students a look at all the things they're expected to tackle when they become a full researcher. Some PhD students are lucky enough to be funded for their time doing these support tasks, but the most important assets are the skills learned in lab work and insights about the field that they can apply to their own research. Eventually, this lab work is the training that shapes a student's doctoral program, or it gives them enough insight to be able to say, yeah, maybe this research just isn't for me. That's okay too. It's a transactional business, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that it may not be for everyone. We're used to movies and TV shows where the learned mentor gives of themselves for nothing in return, so their pupils can go out in the world and change it. That's just not how it works in academia or anywhere. We may critique the capitalist structure of labor and transaction. We may emphasize the slow world of work-life balance, but think about the last time you did something substantial for someone who isn't a family member or a friend for absolutely nothing in exchange. In the end, in academia, no one gets things done in research unless they do it themselves or transact with colleagues in the academic space. Over the years, I've worked with doctoral students and graduates at various universities in different countries. I've heard of delays, arguments, even harassment complaints, and the one thing they all seem to have in common is the inability to find a working relationships with advisors that suits everyone. So if you're in an ambivalent relationship with your advisor, think about how you add value to their research agenda first. Then you can set your expectations for what you are entitled to learn from your advisor. By this point, you might have an instinct to resist and advocate for yourself, and that's not entirely wrong. Permanent faculty have their hands full. They might miss an email. They might have misunderstood something in communication. They might have promised something they didn't deliver. And it's perfectly necessary in those cases to remind them every now and then that you exist, that you are their responsibility. But it's my experience that doctoral students can sometimes overestimate what they're entitled to. An unconditional block of time every week in advising, a letter of recommendation on 1 week's notice, feedback on an upcoming journal submission or presentation over the summer when the faculty are off doing their own research. Now imagine that you're a professor, juggling countless other responsibilities. Do these things sound reasonable to you? Are they things that you would be okay with providing by suspending your own objectives? Whether you're just getting into doctoral studies or struggling with the program already, think about what value you bring to your relationship with your supervisor. And until it comes time to work on your dissertation, chances are your value add is not your understanding of the theory. It's not the enthusiasm for seeking out new and exciting research methods, and it's certainly not the cause you want to take up just because it's important to you. In many advisor-student relationships at the doctoral level, the first thing a student brings early on is their time. Be willing to spend time furthering their research agenda before you further yours. The time to transcribe interviews, the time to clean data, the time to collect literature. Anyone can contribute their time, but you, as a doctoral student, should be willing to put in the hours. Not on being creative or innovative, at least at first, but on working hard. Creativity and innovation come later when you've mastered the core tasks of academia. Next, have skills that are useful to your advisor. You may know how to run analyses in SPSS, you may know how to code qualitative data, you may know how to make flowcharts and figures quickly and easily, but more importantly, emphasize how these skills can make the research easier. In exchange, maybe they'll introduce you to other skills, or invite you to help them write their next paper, or help them give their next presentation. Finally, learn to manage up. Treat this like a professional relationship, not a friendship. Keep track of what you have done, document everything. After every single meeting, send a follow-up email. Here's what we discussed. Here are my action items. It creates a paper trail and keeps everyone on the same page. Don't wait for them to manage you. You have to proactively manage them to make sure you get what you need to graduate. Now, there's no guarantee that doing these things will make for smooth sailing in a doctoral program. Eventually, there will be research skills and knowledge that you have to acquire independent of your advisor's guidance. But progressing through a doctoral program becomes infinitely harder without a good working relationship with your advisor. And a good working relationship starts with demonstrating how valuable you are to them with your time and energy. So, what do you think? Agree or disagree? Leave a comment below, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you thought this was useful as you navigate doctoral work. My name is Roehl Sybing. This is DocWork. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.